Good afternoon, or good morning, good evening. Hello all, I'm David Lee Strasberg. I'm the creative director of the Lee Strasberg Theatre and Film Institute. Welcome to another Instagram Live. Yeah, come on into the room. It's another chance for us to come together, talk method acting, talk about the things that method actors care about, right? And many of the different perspectives that affect our work, right? And sort of the things that we have to deal with. Now, in particular, today we have a special chance. Actually, today's like a unique moment because, two reasons. One, we have an amazing guest today who's going to join us, Lizzy Mansilla. She'll be coming in here in just a moment. But also because I'm going to be taking a risk. One of the things that we're going to be talking to Lizzy about is our Intensivo Español. So it's welcome in. Look, we have people who are going to be joining us soon coming in. It's great. Hello to Boston. Lizzy's going to be coming in and we're going to be talking about the Intensivo Español. So I'm going to take a risk with you guys today. Lizzy, as you will see, Lizzy can sort of move effortlessly between Spanish and English. Most of my conversation will be in English, but I'm gonna take a risk and try a little bit of Spanish today too. The essence of our work, like everything, you want clarity and simplicity in your work, right? That's always at the core. So, in a way, if I can be clear and simple, then I can do it in Spanish as well as in English. So we'll have to see. So that's going to be my big risk today, is opening up a little bit of Español for you guys. And I encourage you. You can feel free to mock me, make fun of my accent, call me a gringo, whatever you want to do. But meanwhile, we're waiting for Lizzy to come on in. But go for it. Thanks. Yeah, easy for you to say. You're like, listen, when you're on the sideline, this is the same thing for actors and directors. People are always like, oh, have fun out there. Remember to have fun. And you're like, yeah, easy for you to say. You're watching, right? When somebody's watching, they're always saying, oh, you need to have a little bit more fun. But when you're in the middle of it, it's scary. I remember talking to a group once in New York, teaching a seminar there, and telling them, someone said, oh, it's like you have to take a leap of faith. And I said, well, sort of. When you're scared, it doesn't feel like faith. Faith says, oh, this is going to be worked out. This is all going to be fine here. And when you're really, really scared, it doesn't really feel that way. It feels like doom. It feels like you're going to do this thing and something really bad's going to happen. So in a way, that's you have to leap into doom, not leap into faith. You can build some of that strength, right? But don't build your technique on the notion of I won't be scared. If you wait to not be scared in order to take a risk, if you wait to not be scared in order to put yourself out there or do something special, you'll be waiting a long time. I'm going to futz with my camera a little bit. Excuse me as I shift for a moment. It's not just a good reminder for you. Really, every actor and every person is defined by the risks that they take. How far do you go? What are you willing to risk? And I think that this is essential. Certainly, it's a critical part of training. Often, I'll see people come in and they want to perform. They perform something for me, and they want to show me what they're really good at because they want me to be happy. They want to make a good impression. If you really want to make a good impression, take a risk. That doesn't mean, oh wow, I don't know anything about Shakespeare. I'll do Shakespeare, right? Just for the sake of it. But to do the things that are scary for you, to put yourself out there in a way that is personal. This is why, again, the people say, oh, well, I'm going to take a risk and I'll do the scene that really requires me to cry because I don't cry so well on camera. That may not be a risk, frankly. That is a general risk, but our work is about specificity. It may not be specifically a risk for you, right? You want to take risks that are really, really particular to you. So, you know, I realize I haven't heard from, I have not yet heard from Lizzy. And I'm looking at my calendar. I'm thinking might be an hour off on my calendar. I think I put this on. So she is actually expecting to come in later. So we'll just do our best there to to reach out to her because I think I'm ahead of schedule. So there we are, right? This is the cool thing about it is the work is not, listen, it started in Russia, right? And now it's considered an American style, but this is work that is all over the world. So this is really not about this is not American work. You don't have to be American to do our work. You don't have to have an American point of view, right? This is training that has flourished in America. Yes, that's true, right? It's tools that have been developed. But it's not actually, by its nature, this is work that is actually universal. It actually thrives on you having a unique point of view, right? And you having a personal perspective, a personal experience of this world, right? And that's not metaphysics. I'm not talking about like, oh, my aura in this universe. I don't mean that at all. What I mean is really particularly things strike you in a unique way, and this is what you want to do. As we're talking, I need to be emailing here since I jumped the gun. I need to let Lizzy Mansilla know that I'm an hour off, so I'm going to be multitasking. Let's see here. Please join in as soon as possible. So, you know, the exciting part for me, listen, I love the fact that each one of you don't agree with me. You don't see the world the same way. And I think sometimes in scenes, in all of our work as an actor, in a way, we compromise too much. We try to find agreement too much. Do you understand that? Like, you don't need to look for agreement. You need to be bold and you need to share your truth. And I think that is something that a lot of people miss. They think, like, oh, we have to agree on all our beats. We agree on our objectives. We agree on what the scene's about. You don't. You need to share, be bold enough, courageous enough, take that risk, share your truth, be willing to look silly. Because we go, what the heck is he doing? That's not the scene. Right? If you were afraid of being silly, you'd never create a character like Jack Sparrow. You know? Like, that would never happen if you were scared of looking foolish. You know? Or frankly, The Godfather. Here's Lizzy. We're gonna let her in. But the risk on The Godfather, people thought, like, they're saying, oh, he wasn't fiery enough, Pacino. You know, but he saw the character, he saw a truth in it, and you know, it pays off. Risk always gains you something. Taking the risk always yields you some benefit. Lizzy.
Hello.
Hello, buenos días.
Buenos días. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias. Muy bien. I'll tell you, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun. I was so excited to talk today.
I think so. I'm sorry. I kept you waiting and talking because I had to tell everybody that it was on now. I know it earlier.
We'll claim it was a time change. Maybe it was daylight savings time or something. Yeah. But it wasn't. I was excited. I was thinking about our talk today. I was like, oh, let me hop on. I'm going to get on there and I'm going to start. So I started, right? There is beauty both in spontaneity.
Of course. Here we are.
And for those who train with me, you also want some structure, right? So timing's a real thing also.
It's true.
For those of you who don't know Lizzy, let me just introduce Lizzy. So she is she trained with me. She trained with us at Strasberg several years back, and she's an actor and producer down in Argentina. And she also has run several seminars now, really for years. You've been bringing groups of students to the school in Los Angeles, out of mostly Argentina, but really throughout throughout Central and South America.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about you, you know, your journey, how you got to us, getting to Strasberg. You are free to use English or Spanish or Spanglish as much as you want.
Okay, great.
I will be careful in my Spanish because I don't want to be mocked famous. So, but I'll try my best.
Okay, great. Well, my path to Strasberg took me like 20 years of my life. I don't know, a long time, because when I was young, when I began to study drama, I always, you know, I was always curious about those actors who inspire me, like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. So I say, who did I study with? You know, and the common factor was Lee Strasberg. You know, all the people, all the actors that I was attracted to, inspired by, they had trained with your dad. So I said I had to go to the school. I mean, one day I had to go, but of course, in my 20s, I didn't have the money, I didn't have the English, so you know, it took me a while to get there. And I had to tell you, David, when I arrived at school, I was frustrated. I was feeling so frustrated with my acting, you know, going nowhere, and feeling that, okay, at that point I said, okay, what was missing? I mean, what haven't I done? What haven't I tried yet? And then I said, Strasberg. So I had the time now, I had money, I had the English, so I go. And I was on my plane, going there to the seminar who you introduced me the method. Yeah. And I was thinking, okay, if they tell me I'm not good enough, it's okay. I go shopping. You know, I was really into like leaving, you know, quitting everything. And you guys opened a big door for me, and a huge door. And no matter the age you are, no matter, you know, how hard you tried, you need to listen to your heart, you need to listen to yourself, and you need to listen to the people who really know, because you saw something in me that I wasn't able to see. You know, and you and Sasha and MJ, you really opened this window, this door, that I could understand that I didn't need to expect, you know, people to call me, and I didn't need to wait to be called to do the job. I could do it. So that's for me, that changed my life. So I went there for a seminar in 2010, and then I came back in 2012 to study more with you. And well, that really made a huge impact in my life.
You know, I think what's great, one of the things I love in the story you're describing is, you know, I talked about risk before you came on, you know, and taking risks. Right. One of the hardest things to do, in my opinion, is, and I often say this, I'll see someone who comes in who's an actor, right? They're a professional actor. They're booking some jobs, they're getting some things, and yet they're not satisfied. That's what you're describing. Like, I'm missing something, and they come to us because they know there's something else, but they don't quite know what it is, or they don't know how to get to it. You'll often see that I watch that person do a scene, and my first thought is, oh, they're in a really tough spot. The actor who's pretty good, like, oh, that's nice work, is in a way in the hardest spot. If the actor's terrible, it's quite easy. You go, oh, this is terrible. You don't know what to do yet. Let's start from scratch. Let's build. And you're very willing to trade something that's terrible. It's like if you're broke, if you have no chips at the poker table, you're happy to go all in because you're like, I don't know, I got 3 chips. Sure, you can have them. Exactly. You know? But when you feel like, no, I've worked hard for these chips. You know, I've got a little career going. I mean, like, now taking a risk, I'm going to argue, yields even more benefit. It gets more challenging because you get scared. You really want to hold on. Method acting is never about holding on. Exactly. It's never about holding on. It's always about, like, release, let go of that thing, let it happen, create, respond, allow, including, you know, allow risk, allow failure, as you say. At work, I love it. You can go shopping. You know. Yeah. That was in my head. You know, I was because I really cared too much. You know, I really cared too much because I always wanted to be an actress. So, you know, I really cared.
and you gave me, I had to say, you gave me an opportunity that I wasn't able to see for myself. So that is what I, I inspire most, and I kept going and going because I went there like every 2 years. I kept going to the school and learning and learn from just to be a coach, because then I developed the willing to be an acting coach, and well, many things. And then obviously one day, David, I don't know if you recall this, but it was 2016, and I was there. You let me, go to see some classes, and then we had a meeting, and I've been teaching for a while, and my students were like, why is it only in English? So I was going to tell you that, and you saw me and said, I need to talk to you, Lizzy, about something. We want to make seminars in Spanish. So I was going to tell you. You told me. It was like universal. I was hearing, some way, and this is the one of the most exciting things that happened to me. I mean, we both had the same idea at the same time, and for me, is very emotional and everything together, because when I was in my 20s, I wasn't able to do it because I didn't have the language.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say this in English, in Spanish. So, para todo el mundo que nos está viendo, toda la comunidad hispánica, para mí ha sido un gran honor que David y yo tuvimos la misma idea en el mismo momento de poder armar estos seminarios en español y ofrecerle a los artistas latinoamericanos que tengan la oportunidad de estudiar en esta escuela, que es un cambio de vida, como comentaba antes. So, and I want you to, and I want you to tell people that what they need to get to the school. Do they need to have experience? Do they need to not have experience? Do they need to know anything about the method? Or why don't you tell them so?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the method just wants more of you.
Mm-hmm.
The method is not asking for experience. I mean, we deal with having real experiences, right? But
yes.
But at its root, the method is not about, well, I've been on stage and camera for the last 20 years. It's about you being willing. We train concentration,
mm-hmm.
right? And concentration, many people think of concentration as it's outgoing, it is effort, it is full. My dad talked about concentration, and also you see this in like Vakangov in his work, another one of the Russian third studio. Concentration was actually about will, training the will, right, which is willingness, right?
Yes.
The notion of will is a willingness to do things. So you ask me, what does someone need to study with us? They need willingness.
That's right.
Right? They need a willingness to like take risks,
focus,
to focus,
concentrate,
even when they're scared.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's this funny balance between trust us, right? Like do what I ask you to do. That's part of it, yeah, right? Like, okay, I'm going to trust David. I'm going to trust the teachers. I'm going to trust Carlos. I'm going to do this thing. And at the same time that they trust us, I want you even more to trust yourself. So how do you hear us, listen to us, and yet find yourself? That's the piece that like you can't miss. That's the essential element. And obviously, one of the barriers we can lower, right, is like you don't need to speak English. Because funny enough, my dad didn't speak English when he came to this country.
Right.
And I think that there's been a bit of pride around this American style of acting, this American technique. And yet this thing that seems so American, my dad was an immigrant who, didn't speak the language, and yet could find this tradition, this work, this inspiration. And I think that's also important for us. I think it's, when we think even of, American work or American acting, the nature of what that is changing. And I think we want to really embrace that it can be fed from anywhere.
Exactly.
Right? In South America, Central America, right? Canada. I will tell you, Atlanta doesn't look a lot like LA. It could look like another country,
exactly.
like, you know, the South of the U.S. And yet the method is theirs too. Like the method is yours. It belongs in Buenos Aires. It belongs everywhere, right? In Mexico City. So, so this is, sorry, a long answer for like, what are we looking for? I want people who are really committed. We're willing to lose anything and willing to take a risk when they show up to us.
Yeah. Would you sum up method acting into that? Or, I mean, it's difficult to sum up.
No, I would say this notion of taking a risk is an essential ingredient to trade.
Right.
Right. So if you're summing up method acting, and maybe this one I'll try in English and in Spanish. I think you have to be willing for method acting. You have to be willing to share your experience of the world. Right. So it's really about training yourself to deal with your imagination, right, and allow that imagination to trigger responses. Right, so that the process is real, becomes, you end up having a real experience, right there in front of us. This is method acting. This is the essence. It's got to have this piece of truth that comes out of you.
Yeah, human experience.
Human experience. And that's not an artsy thing. That means you right now need to be having a human experience rather than just looking like you have an experience. Like, you know, like. El método es I'm going to give it a shot, you know.
Come on, yes.
Se trata de encontrar una verdad, right? La tuya, right? But to me, this is where it all starts.
Exactly.
Right? Your truth. Y entrenas tu mente y tu cuerpo para responder a la
con verdad,
imaginación, y el resultado de este viaje, proceso, es la experiencia real, verdad, ¿sí? Experimentas la vida, ¿cómo se llama? Plenamente.
Sí.
Plenamente en ese momento de actuar cuando otra gente, otras personas solo parecen experimentar, right?
Yeah.
That's the heart of what we do.
That's the heart.
Yeah.
Es el corazón.
El corazón. Yeah, that's right. Even a small piece of truth. And by the way, let your mocking begin on my accent and grammar. I apologize.
Oh no, please!
I
you
apologize
did
for what
great.
I've done to the Spanish language.
No apologies. You did great.
Thank you.
You did great, and also, you know, people like when they know that you don't speak Spanish. This is not your first language. It's a second language. So everybody, you know, really likes when someone tries. You know, like me, I'm trying in English, of course, always.
Yeah. And again, the truth of it is not language based.
That's right.
You know, the truth of it, language tries to capture experience. You get that? Like, language is a bad proxy. It approximates the experience we have, and we all know that moment. You're like, how do I say it? I can't even explain how I was. It's just the words are insufficient. You know, so what you really want out of method acting, yes, we have words. That's how we communicate.
Yes.
But, you know, in Russian, the word they used was perezhevania, experience, living through. And that's the thing you're trying to capture, right? And I think that's where people sometimes get misled. They forget. Yeah. They get confused by language even when the experience is clear.
Right. Yeah, well, it's it comes from Stanislavski, right? You know, there's always been two schools. The school who experiences, who really feels the truth and tries to live the moment, and the school who, you know, which imitates life, you know, which copies how a person, you know, is when someone is sad, you know, to cry is like someone is sad, but not being sad.
Even
that is the main difference.
Even when you understand real emotion, you say, oh, I know how to do that. I know how to find authentic emotion. It's funny how people still default to playing results. They think the whole scene is about, oh, and now I have to be sad. when you realize when you're sad, you're not just sad. You're scared, you're worried, you've lost something, you don't know how you have doubts, you don't know how you're going to continue.
You might be angry.
You might like, screw it, I'm going shopping. You start laughing because I'm going shopping because, you're really happy, you start to cry. You're really sad, often you start to laugh.
So behavior, right?
Even when they have real emotion, sometimes they think that is experience when it isn't. It is an ingredient of an experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important piece that people start in class, that you start to literally deal with that. You have to deal with how to balance the emotional truth with physical action, with circumstances, with how you cover and how you deflect and all this.
Exactly. Mask and behavior, right? Behavior.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. So
why don't you tell me a little, since you organized it, obviously we have created this together, over many years, what is it that people should expect at the seminar? What are you excited for there?
Well, this is our fourth seminar. It's going to be our fourth seminar. Can you believe it? I mean, it's amazing. So for this fourth seminar, we have some surprises. We are going to have a new class, and we're going to have obviously method acting with Carlos Colunga, and we're going to have, I will repeat the same in Spanish after this, okay? So I will tell you in English and then in Spanish. And then we're going to have acting for TV and film with David Salsa. David has never taught our students, so it's going to be, new nice surprise. And we're going to have Fabiana Medici in improv. Which is a new subject. We're going to have another class. And obviously, you are the icing of the cake, right? David Strasberg with your masterclass at the end of the seminar, which is always the most, emotional day and beautiful day, because everybody is so excited, from day one to have you at the end. And so they are getting ready with Carlos and everybody to do their icing with you.
And the whole thing lasts 2 weeks,
The whole thing lasts 2 weeks, is 36 hours, and maybe longer, because, some teachers,
we run over, we all run over.
Are very passionate, in the school, so they want to stay longer with the students and try to see if they really understand and capture everything that has to do with the work. And so, like Carlos, last year he had classes like instead of 4 hours, 6 hours long. So, some students are here like saying, congrats, because they know some of the seminar students from the other seminars.
I love, by the way, that we have some folks in chat who were part of the seminar before, and I see them chiming in. So for those who are in the chat, if you can ask questions, and we'll try to answer them, but also some of the other folks in chat who had that experience in it may also be able to provide some guidance if you have questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, should I say everything in Spanish now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Para todos los que están escuchando en español, las clases que vamos a tener, el seminario próximo es el cuarto, y vamos a tener la clase de Method Acting, de método de actuación, con Carlos Colunga, que es un profesor de México que trabaja en la escuela. How long has Carlos been working in the school? Like more than 15 years, right?
Yeah, no, 20. More than 20.
Right. Yeah. Carlos ha trabajado en la escuela por 20 años enseñando el método, y ha sido la primera vez para Carlos enseñar el método en español para nuestras clases, obviamente. Así que, bueno, esa es la clase que tenemos. Tenemos la clase con Fabiana Medici de improv, y tenemos la clase con David Salsa de cámara, actuación para la cámara, donde van a aprender muchísimas cosas. Y bueno, el final de del seminario es la Masterclass con David Strasberg. Así que van a poder trabajar con David y, bueno, es hacer un progreso de todo lo que han aprendido a lo largo de estas 2 semanas en la escuela de 36 horas de clases. Right?
Great. Let me ask you, what are you most excited for in it? ¿Qué es la cosa más emocionante, right? Like, what's the biggest piece for you?
Like, you mean for the organization or for me as an actor?
Maybe both. Two different questions. What are you most excited for them, for those actors, for what they get to do? And then what are you most excited about yourself?
It's feel like, for me, it's like, how do you say it in English? when you feel your hair's goosebumps. Yes, I had that, all the time, because they're what I see in them when they arrive at the school. They get emotional, they cry, usually. They see the school, they see the classes, they see the places where they're going to be acting and studying and training. And I felt the same. So for me, oh my gosh, it's a huge journey, from I'm talking about 12 years ago when I first arrived at school, and I felt the same thing. And to be able, I'm saying this very humbly, but to be able to help people to get to do this, for me is this, I feel emotional, I love it. I love it, and I enjoy it a lot. And I learn always a lot.
Well, your commitment to sharing the work has always been so strong. It's a way to pass on a gift. I think, Lizzy, you've always had a sense for how special the impact was on you and your acting and your life. And then it's like, oh my goodness, who would I be if I didn't share that?
Exactly.
And then to be able to bring people to LA, into sort of the source, the same place that you received it, I think is really, really special. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. It changed my life, literally. It was a before and after the school. And obviously, I started working there with educating Rita, which, then I could
you
take
began
it
after
to
school, right?
Yeah. I started, doing some scenes. I did a monologue with you, and
I still remember that monologue. Yes.
Yeah. And it made. I said, okay, what I'm gonna do when I come back to Buenos Aires, and I learned in the school that I had to work, for myself, not wait for, a call. And so I said, okay, I'm going to get the rights, and I didn't know I was going to get not only, get the rights, but to do it in a mainstream theater. Everything, like, I don't know. It was a complete dream, with an actor who was a very well-known actor who had won awards, in the movies and on TV. And so, David, I was thinking I was going to do it in a theater, in a local theater, independent, theater, not in the mainstream. Everything. I say, the universe, listens to you when you are, passionate, when you do the best, to get to where you want to go. And I really didn't expect that. And it was a beautiful, beautiful journey. And it started at Strasberg. And I always say, I always absolutely in gratitude and grateful to my teachers, to the school, because that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been there, of course. And we had a year on the stage, which is a long time.
That's a long time. It is.
Yeah.
For anyone who has not produced theater, that's a long, long time. Yeah.
Long, yeah. But we expected to be there 2 months, and then we had audience, and then we did a tour. So I never forget where it all started. So it's for me, this is the key thing. The key ingredient. And you gave me wings, and the school gave me wings to fly and to do my own fly. With this, with my acting. So, to believe in me. This is the most important thing, because this is what I learned in the school. Not to be a better actor, but to believe in myself, to be strong in my confidence. And my confidence is strong because I got to work on the technique. I got to understand the technique, and I prepare myself. The preparation is, but your dad said all is in the work, which is true. It's just like that.
Yeah, this is key, right? This is such an important point, and I referenced it earlier, but I often tell my actors, you're in really good hands, yours, right? That for a little while, we can support you when you're not sure. But actually what you learn is, oh my goodness, I've got this. I can actually keep myself safe. I actually have an impulse here that I can trust. I can trust my own talent to work for me. I think one of the reasons people talk about actors being neurotic or crazy. I think it's because when you have this talent, this thing that tells you to do things that nobody else would do, and you don't know if it's right. And if you haven't learned and trained to trust it, learn how to relax into that, oh my goodness, you're constantly anxious because you're doing this thing that no one would do, and you think it's gonna be good, but you don't really know. So confidence is like confidence in what? That you build this technique that goes, oh, I can be confident in me, in my talent, in my responsiveness, in my imagination, you know. And I think all of this is really, this is the root of, like, the best schools of acting, really, we don't teach you how to act.
Yes.
You know, we teach you
exactly.
how to in relationship to yourself, how to learn about your own body. By the way, how to learn about yourself and other people, how to learn about human beings, you know, and then how to get out of your own way.
Exactly. Yeah. So turn on to be on the stage and turn off when you are not. Yes, exactly.
By the way, that's a good point, and I think, and it's probably worth pointing out, right? A big misunderstanding people have, as you said, turn on and turn off. Like, if you know, if you want to learn how to fly, you said we helped you, you know, fly, like, you know, with wings. You need to learn how to land, and you know, method acting. One of the big, I mean, I think there are so many things that people misunderstand. Hay muchos malentendidos.
Mitos, sí,
you know?
Mitos,
right.
Yes.
But that's one of the, there's two big ones, I think, and that's the first one.
Yeah.
Right, is you don't need to live in your, how do you say, ¿cómo se llama in character?
In what?
In character?
En personaje.
En personaje, right. So you don't need to, you know, no necesitas vivir en una personaje todo el día, right? You don't have to live in character all day long para actuar. You know, I think people make that mistake a lot about method acting, right? They think, oh, that means I never leave. No, technique. You know, like the whole point of training, la razón para la que entrenas, right? Like is to be able to turn it off. Right? Like not everything, like let the imagination function, right? And you don't need to always be literal. No hagas todo literal.
Exacto.
Right? I think that's a big understanding. Otherwise, people think, oh, well, this guy is crazy. I need to be crazy. He's drunk. I need to be drunk. He's getting a divorce. I need to find a divorce really fast. You know, and they mistake, and they're missing the power of your imagination and your talent to understand people and understand what's really going on. And that's the thing that you act.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a good point because yes, there's been a lot of misunderstanding, myths and truth about what the method really is. But I think the best way to learn the method is at the Strasberg School. I mean, really.
You know, like a lot of things, we are not general. You know, like if you make a car, you put specific things in specific places.
Right.
For a reason. Like there's a reason that things are designed the way they are designed. Yeah. You know, I remember hearing a story about Tesla early on. You know, Tesla, they were always smart at Tesla, but they didn't always make great cars. You know, but I remember that they did something where the folks from Tesla invited in the people from Ford to come visit their factory. And the guys from Ford came and looked at their car and they said, how come the window doesn't go down? Because the original Tesla, the window stayed up. You couldn't roll the window down. And they're like, oh, well, you know, well, we have this great battery and this great computer, but we don't really know how to make the window roll down. You know? And the people at Ford were like, oh, you don't make cars. I get it. Like our business, we make cars. The window's really easy. You do this, you do, and like they had to learn Tesla. They knew a lot about computers, a lot about batteries, not a lot about cars. So it's the same thing with method acting is like, you want to go to someplace where this is what they do. This is what we're into. And we do things for particular reasons. We have a point of view, but also we really care about details. So that's what I would say to you. If you care about the details, then it's a good place. If you don't, if you just want quick and dirty, you can kind of go anywhere and wing it, right? But this is where we really take it very seriously. We have fun, but we take it seriously, and we're into the details.
Right. Why don't you tell people what are method acting?
I lost you there. I'm sorry.
Your
I
two
lost you.
more important words.
Say that one more time.
Yes, because my phone was telling me that I don't have enough material, but don't worry. Why don't you tell people what are the two most important words in method acting?
Yeah. Personal and specific.
And
específico y personal, right?
Exacto.
Like
hacerlo personal y ser específico in your choice.
Yeah.
¿No?
Yeah. Well, in everything.
In everything. Right.
In your choice, meaning the number of times I hear people say, well, this guy is getting a divorce, so I'm really thinking about how much he loves his wife and how sad he is. And I'm like, well, that isn't personal.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's a general, we don't even know what divorce is. Is divorce loss? Is divorce freedom? Are you ashamed to admit it to people? Did you fail? Are you happy you're finally rid of? Like, I don't know what divorce is. So even in reading the character, you want to read with your heart open.
Yes.
So you can just say, not just they're having a divorce, but what's really going on. Then, of course, you want to create that thing. You want to create that reality. You know, you were talking about going shopping. People don't use those things enough. They think their choice has to be, I will, as if the world were ending, as if my mother were going to die, as if my my brother were in danger, and they're not, right? And yet, last night I was watching TV with my wife, and there's this big spider, a huge spider on the wall. And we're both like, oh my God. It's personal and specific and has a huge impact on us.
Exactly.
We respond to lots of things. We respond to shopping. We respond to ice cream, not just to suicide and loss and love generally.
I'm asking my son to bring me the plug.
Oh, the plug, yeah. Well,
I was charging the phone before.
We're almost at time. I think, the one other thing I want people to know, just because since we have the chance to communicate with folks here, in terms of what we do in method acting, I started thinking about malentendidos, right? Like misunderstandings of the method.
This is Lucas.
Hola.
Hi, David.
¿Cómo estás?
¿Todo bien, y vos? How are you doing?
So, but the other thing I want people to know is that we don't just plunge into emotion, right? If there's not a secret, but a misunderstanding beyond not staying, you don't have to be in character all the time. The other big thing for me is that we don't actually create emotion.
Right.
Emotion comes from what we do. Yes, emotion flows, it rises, it triggers, but we don't create the emotion. We create a reality, and then we allow you to respond. And I think just whenever we're having a conversation with people who might be new to our work, I want to make sure that comes across.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, I learned that since memory.
Yeah.
But it's not something that you learned in the first class or second class or in 2 weeks. I mean, you need time to train it, to really understand how you use it, how you work with it.
Yeah.
It's a huge tool for me, but it takes time to learn it.
And part of it is you learn how to do it, how to bring this emotional life so that it doesn't scare you, so that your body can accept it, so that you don't stop when it comes. Otherwise, too many actors, as soon as things start to happen, they go, I'm sorry, can we take that again? It didn't work. It is working. You stop because it is working, right? So I think that's an important piece to learn in the beginning. Yes, you learn how to do it just to do it, to build a relationship to it. But in a professional sense,
yes,
right? Like if you only create the emotion, then you're creating a result, right? And you really don't want to create results, right?
Exactly.
No te centras en el resultado, right?
Sino la experiencia.
Yes, exactly right. It's like we create la realidad, right? Not like it's the reality. It's not how you feel about that reality.
Right.
And I think that's really you can't say that too many times.
Right. Exactly. Also, you learned about yourself while you're working on sense memory, because you learn to understand how you react to things.
Yeah.
You know, how you get affected by things. And as you said, you need to think about the death of someone. You know, it can be, you know, minor things, and you get surprised by yourself by doing. You know, you need to do it. You need to do it in order to see what happens.
I love that
you need to be brave enough, you know, have the courage to do it.
I love that you say that, because I think too many people are trying to surprise the audience, and not enough people are surprising themselves.
Exactly.
You know, and it's a big difference. It's a big, big, big difference. One to the other.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, as your father said, if you are not on the stage and you are not on the audience, where are you? You're nowhere. I mean, you can't be on the stage or on the audience. You know, you have to be on one place. And the place for the actor is the stage, which means you have to be concentrating in what is happening to you. You know, what, you know, experiencing, and not thinking about the results. But you get to do that once you get prepared. You understand how you work, how you function.
Yeah.
And, you know, the best way is to, you know, to have a technique that supports you, that you can be confident with.
Right. Let me ask you, is there, as we're coming to the end, anything that you want people to know about the Intensivo Español or about Strasberg, anything that you want to share while we have you?
Okay. In Spanish, right?
Sure.
Ok, bueno, los invito a todos los que están interesados en preguntarnos sobre el seminario, próximo seminario, o los próximos seminarios. Pueden consultar por Strasberg, pueden consultar por The Connection, y les vamos a dar toda la información sobre el seminario. Este seminario va a arrancar el 29 de agosto hasta el 9 de septiembre. Okay, August 29th until September the 9th. September the 9th is going to be the closure of the seminar with David's Masterclass. Do you want to talk a little bit about your Masterclass? You know, to tell people about it?
Well, yes. You know, you're doing your 2 weeks of training. To me, the Masterclass, I'm trying to bring things together for you, right? So in a way, it shifts every year a little bit every time we do it, because I'm trying to fit it to the people we have. It's not generally, I'm going to give you a lecture on method acting. I'm really trying to help you understand you, right? Like, what is it that you are struggling with? Like, where are you stuck in your acting? And then finding the tool to handle that. So the Masterclass for me, there are some fundamental principles. I really want to bring together behavior, emotion, script work and breakdown, understanding character, understanding. Yes, I want to bring all these pieces together. But I want to do that in a way that you are really clear on your next step. That to me is the most, so it's very personalized.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't intend to be that way, but I always intended to be personal, but it didn't intend to work out this way. But what has come is now we sort of, each person kind of gets a moment where we really just get to look at you and say, like, what's going on for this actor? What's next? What's the risk? What's the block? You know, where can you go with this, where you're holding on? And I think that to me is a really exciting part of the Masterclass. We kind of never know exactly what's going to happen. Right?
Yes.
But it's always been really, really special and rewarding in that.
Exactly. Sometimes, you know, some students ask me, okay, well, the Masterclass, so we had to be ready for the Masterclass. And then, no, you had to be yourself. And the idea is that you train. It's one more day of training, you know. It's not that you are going to get the results there. You're going to have a lot of insight of yourself, you know, with the Masterclass, because David can read.
I'm not going to be satisfied with any performance that I see. That's my job, is not to be satisfied with any performance I see. You know, so you're not there to impress me. In a way, you're there to find for yourself, like, where am I? And then we can talk about where you are and not pretend. I think one of the problems is people, they want to say, look how far along, I'm so far along. And they're not that far along. And you're better off saying, oh, wow, I'm not that far along. That's okay. So I'm at the early part, which means there's a lot of growth. Versus I'm really far along. There's only small things to do now, right? Like, no one spot is better than another, but you want to be honest and in relationship to where you are, not pretending that you're someplace else. Pretending you're experienced when you're 16 years old and not experienced. Pretending that you're really free in your body and have no concerns when you're really anxious and nervous and tense in the body, right? So the masterclass isn't about proving anything to me. It's about sharing with me, you know,
Yes.
and really, I guess if I were going to encourage people specifically around that masterclass, it's that, like, I get that the industry lives in certain places. Hollywood, right? LA has an industry. You come to LA because it's the heart of this business in a lot of ways. New York also has a certain part of that energy, right? It's certainly in Broadway, but even the film and TV industry, so much of it is in New York as well. So if you want to be in the business, these are great places to be. But you don't need to have grown up in LA or grown up in New York to be talented. And that's the part you're talking about, trusting yourself. I want you to begin, all of you, to trust your talent and know that, like, you don't have to have lived in LA to be talented.
Exactly.
Right. And so this is a chance for you to say, like, yeah, I may not have I've not been exposed to method acting. I haven't done that before. And I believe that I have a talent. You know, what you really need is a unique experience.
Exactly.
Right. Like,
and you are, I had to say, you're very good at reading people. You are very good at reading people, you know, just looking at people. Like, but 2 minutes, I don't know, 5 minutes, you're very good. I mean, I'm always, you know, surprised to see how good you are at this. I mean, how can you tell about someone you haven't met before just by watching 5 minutes, 2 minutes?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, but this, I mean.
Well, thank you. You know,
it's your talent.
Part of that is, even when I'm talking, I'm listening in a way, right? Everything, like, your body communicates, Lizzy. Everyone's body communicates all the time. So the things I know, I only know because you're telling me. Because that person is communicating by what they say and don't say, by how they move or don't move, by where their energy, by where their attention sits in their body. You can kind of feel. It's not think. Like, in a way, my mind gets quiet, and I just sort of get to receive what this person's offering. And you're like, oh, well. And then the other thing I do is I trust that a pattern holds. So if no one likes this idea. They all think that, no, that's just because I was nervous. No, that's because the scene was something. But when I see a pattern in your acting on the stage, I know that pattern's in your life. So in a way, I see you act, and I know what your bedroom looks like. I hate to say it that way, right? But the pattern of habit is so strong, and yet people are unaware of it. Stella talked about having conscious work towards unconscious result. We have to become more conscious in what we are, in our awareness and in what we attempt, in order to free up our creativity. So that's part of my job in that masterclass, is to bring things to your awareness that you are going, no, that's not, that's not really, only now, and you pretend aren't true. Right? And so I say, oh, hold on a second, I see it. So let's deal with it, because once you see it, you can deal with it.
Exactly. Well, it's an amazing insight. Everybody gets, comes back home with a lot of, knowledge and insight of something amazing in the seminar. So I hope all the Latin American people who are watching can join us in the next seminar. Quiero agradecerles a todos los que también están saludando, a los previos alumnos de los seminarios que nos han saludado por aquí. People who came from the other seminars are saying hi and thank you. So nice kisses to everybody.
Well, thank you. I hope I get to see them again. And I'm excited. I know every time you come, talent shows up with you. So I'm excited to see the talent this year. I know it's going to be a powerful group.
Well, we have from Brazil. We have people from Brazil, which is the first time we're going to have people from Brazil.
Crap! Watch out, man! Those Brazilians, man, they're powerful. They're powerful. Yeah.
Yes, Mexico, Argentina, Chile. We have people from all over the world, which is great. Okay. So everybody's welcome.
Well, Lizzy, muchísimas gracias. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you. In August and in my class in September. We'll have a great time.
Yes, wonderful, David. Thank you for this. This is amazing.
You're welcome.
Bye.
And if any of you have specific questions, you can follow Lizzy there at the connection at her account. You can also DM us here at our account if you want more details on this intensive or other international intensives. We've got some things brewing in India. Obviously, our Bulgarian intensive is actually happening right at this moment. So there are a lot of things kind of happening in and around, so you can DM us for more information. Take care,
Right.
everyone. Stay well.
Great to see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.